Seeds of Discovery, The Mendelian Legacy. Act 1. The Garden's Whispers. Introduction to Mendel's Experiments. In this early stage, we are introduced to Gregor Mendel, an Augustinian friar with a keen interest in the natural world. Mendel tends to the monastery garden and becomes fascinated by the variations in traits among pea plants. His decision to conduct experiments on pea plants is motivated by their easily observable traits and the ability to control their breeding. Mendel carefully selects 7 different traits, including seed color, flower color, and plant height, to study. These traits serve as the foundation for his groundbreaking work on heredity. Through meticulous observations, Mendel begins to unravel the patterns of inheritance in these plants. Key points in Act 1. 1. Pea plant selection. Mendel chooses pea plants for their simplicity, variety of traits, and ease of cultivation. 2. 7 traits. Mendel focuses on 7 different traits within the pea plants to conduct his experiments. 3. Observation and curiosity. Mendel's curiosity about the variations in traits becomes the driving force behind his experiments. 4. Setting the stage. This act sets the stage for Mendel's exploration into the laws of inheritance, laying the groundwork for the principles of dominance, segregation, and independent assortment that will follow in subsequent acts.
Act 2. The presentation. Challenges faced. Having made significant discoveries, Mendel decides to present his work to the scientific community at the Natural History Society of Brno. However, this act unfolds with challenges as Mendel struggles to convey the statistical nature of his experiments. The audience, not fully grasping the complexity of his methods, remains indifferent to his groundbreaking findings. Key points in Act 2. 1. Scientific endeavor. Mendel, excited about his findings, decides to share his discoveries with the scientific community. 2. The presentation. Mendel presents his work at the Natural History Society of Brno, hoping to gain recognition for his groundbreaking experiments with pea plants. 3. Statistical complexity. Mendel faces challenges in explaining the statistical aspects of his work, including the concept of probability and the mathematical underpinnings of his experiments. 4. Indifference of the scientific community. Despite Mendel's enthusiasm, the scientific community remains indifferent to his work, failing to recognize the revolutionary nature of his discoveries. 5. Publication. Decision. Faced with the lack of acknowledgement, Mendel decides to publish his findings in a paper titled Experiments on Plant Hybridization. This act highlights Mendel's struggle to communicate the complexity of his work to his contemporaries and the initial lack of recognition for his groundbreaking contributions to the understanding of heredity. Act 3. Seeds of Legacy. Continued experiments. Undeterred by the lack of recognition, Mendel takes on a new role as the abbot of the monastery. In this act, Mendel continues his experiments with pea plants, cultivating multiple generations to further confirm and refine his theories. The garden becomes a metaphor for Mendel's persistence and resilience in the pursuit of scientific knowledge. Key points in Act 3. 1. Appointment as abbot. Mendel is appointed the abbot of the monastery, signaling a new chapter in his life. 2. Continued experiments. Mendel persists in his experiments, cultivating successive generations of pea plants to gather more data and refine his understanding of heredity. 3. Refinement of theories. Building upon his initial findings, Mendel refines and expands his theories on inheritance and the laws governing the transmission of traits. 4. Metaphor of the garden. The garden, once the setting of Mendel's initial discoveries, now becomes a metaphor for his enduring commitment and the growth of his groundbreaking ideas. This act emphasizes Mendel's resilience, dedication, and ongoing contributions to the field of genetics, even in the face of initial setbacks and lack of recognition. Certainly, here are some prompts that you can use to generate a story about the posthumous recognition of Mendel's work in Act 4. 1. Mendel's passing. Explore the final years of Mendel's life and the circumstances surrounding his passing in 1884. How did he reflect on his life's work, and what were his hopes for the future of genetics? 2. Decades later. A rediscovery. Transport the story to decades later, when scientists rediscover Mendel's experiments. What circumstances led to this rediscovery, and how did the scientific community react to the re-evaluation of Mendel's work? 3. Recognition unveiled. Capture the moment when scientists, upon rediscovering Mendel's experiments, realize the profound impact of his theories on genetics. How does the scientific community come to acknowledge Mendel as the father of modern genetics? 4. Posthumous celebration. Explore how Mendel's posthumous recognition is celebrated within the scientific community. What events or tributes take place to honor Mendel's enduring legacy? 5. Legacy in the classroom. Zoom into the future, where Mendel's work becomes a cornerstone in genetics education. How do students learn about Mendel's experiments, and what role does his legacy play in shaping the curriculum? 6. Influence on future discoveries. Examine how Mendel's posthumous recognition influences subsequent generations of geneticists. What new discoveries are inspired by Mendel's foundational principles, and how does his work pave the way for future advancements in genetics? These prompts can serve as starting points to generate a story that explores the posthumous recognition of Mendel's work and the enduring legacy he leaves in the field of genetics.